Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be doing day 2 of U8L4, completing the square. I am going to have a worksheet for you to do. This topic is absolutely one of the harder topics that we will be doing in this class. So I definitely want you to take your time with doing this. But the reason why I wanted to do a second day is because I find that if I give you these steps, most of you will be able to get this no problem after practicing. Our homework worksheet will be similar problems, so you'll be able to go back to this video and see the examples. I have on the sheet a example. Take a moment to write this problem down. Pause the video if you need to. And I have down the steps that we're going to be following. They probably don't make much sense right now, but as I move forward, they'll make sense. I'm going to keep them up for every single video, every single problem I do on this video. So let's begin. So this is going to be the steps for completing the square. The directions will say something like, find the vertex using completing the square. And I have to do it in that way. I cannot use my calculator to find it. I could find it to confirm it, but I'd have to show the work manually, okay? So you have to do these steps. You cannot just give me the vertex. You have to give me these steps. So the first thing I always do is make sure it's in standard form, which it is. We have ax squared plus bx plus c. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find b term divided by 2. So the b term, I'm going to put this over to the side. The b term, of course, right now is 4. I'm going to do that divided by 2, which is 2. Now, what I always do is I box it. And this box is going to be my clue, because I'm going to use this in a few moments to make my binomial squared. Okay, so let's keep going. Step 3 is we're going to take our b term, and we're going to b term divided by 2, and we're going to square it. So that's 4. Okay, happens to be the same number. It's not always the case. That's going to be my new c term. What I mean by c term is I'm going to squeeze this in between my b term and my old c term. So I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to rewrite it like this. Y equals x squared plus 4x. Now, I'm going to add in this new c term plus 4. This always happens to me. I always make everything way too big. So I'm going to move this down. Okay, there we go. Okay. Plus 4, and then I also have to subtract it because we can't just add 4 because that wouldn't be the rules of equality for addition. So I'm going to subtract it, and then I'm going to be left with my original c term, okay? So you can see that the black that I've written is going to be my original problem, and the purple that I wrote in is my new c term added and subtracted. That's step number 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trinomial, which is now a perfect square trinomial. That's what Garrett did yesterday in the video. So I'm going to take my perfect square trinomial, and I'm going to make it into a binomial squared. How am I going to do that? So I'm going to write y equals, and I'm going to write, using my clue in red, x plus 2. I didn't even have to think. I went right up to my clue, and my binomial squared is going to be my clue in the box. I'm going to do x plus 2 squared, and then I'm going to just add the constants. So I'm just going to add these up. -4 plus 8 is plus 4. Okay, so my final answer, what is the vertex? The vertex is going to be -2, 4. Why is it a -2? Because when we're doing the vertex, it's going to be the same sign, same number. So we're talking about x and y. The x is going to be the same number, different sign. And if I can get down lower, the y term is going to be the same number, same sign. Okay? So I'll give you guys a moment to write down everything that I have written down here. Let me make this a little smaller so you can see it. View, zoom. Okay. So pause if you need to. I'm going to move on to the next question. Okay, So now we have a little bit better handle on what we need to do here. So I still have the directions on the right, and I'm always going to have my directions written down for me to do these until I had some sort of test in class. But of course, anything I assess you on, you're going to have your notes in front of you. So we have a new problem, x squared plus 6x minus 11, similar to the one before. So let's go through the steps and make sure it's in standard form, which it is. So now I'm going to jump into finding the b term divided by 2. The b term in this case is 6. So I'm going to take 6 divided by 2, which is 3. I'm going to put a box around it because that's going to be my clue for later. Step 3, I'm going to take my b term divided by 2, and I'm going to square it. So it's going to be 3 squared is going to be 9, and that's my new c term. I'm going to rewrite by adding and subtracting the new c term. So I'm going to write it with my original problem, y equals x squared plus 6x. I'm now going to add my new c term and subtract my new c term. And I'm going to then write the old c term down. So everything in black is for my original problem, and my purple is now the new c term added and subtracted, because again, I can't just add it, I have to also subtract. Now I can quickly see in step 5 that this is a perfect square trinomial. And I'm going to rewrite it as a binomial squared. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do, it's y equals, I'm going to do x plus 3. How do I know it's 3? I go up to my clue. The thing in the box is going to be what we're going to write there. It's brainless. Really, it is. If you write it and you put it in a box, you're going to remember, oh, I go up to my clue. That's right. I'm going to square it, and I'm going to add the constants. In this case, it's -9 minus 11, which is going to be -20. My final step is find the vertex. My vertex is going to be for the x value, same number, different sign. So it's going to be -3. And it's going to be same number, same sign, -20. And then put parentheses around it. If you wanted to check this out, you could go to put it in your calculator to y equals, and you could actually see that the turning point is going to be -3, -20. Not on the graph, but on the table, because the graph, it won't show up. Okay, let's move on to another question. This time I'm going to have a negative b term. Okay. So now we start moving a little bit quicker because we know the steps. Make sure it's in standard form. Yes, it is. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to find my b term, which is -2. Don't forget the negative. I'm going to divide it by 2. I get -1. That's my clue. I'm going to box it. I'm now going to take my -1 and I'm going to square it. I get 1. That's my new c term. Don't forget, negative number squared is always going to be positive. So now what's going to happen? I'm going to rewrite my problem. This is step 4, y equals x squared minus 2x. I'm going to write now my +1 and -1. Same number added and subtracted. And then I'm going to be left with my 6, which was my original c term. So now I'm going to go to step 5, take the trinomial. That's a trinomial, perfect square trinomial. Doesn't matter if I don't know that off the top of my head, because I know I'm going to go to my clue. I'm going to do x minus 1 squared. That's y equals. And then I'm going to add the constants, which is -1 plus 6, which is +5. Final step. I'm going to find my vertex, same number, different sign, -1 becomes +1, same number, same sign, 5. Okay, some of you might be saying at this point, wait a minute, if I add 1 and I subtract 1, can I just put them all together here? And the answer is no. We're trying to rewrite this so we can write it in a vertex form. By the way, this is called vertex form. You're trying to write it in vertex form. This is vertex form right here. So that way that I can find the vertex. There's two reasons why we do completing the square. One way is because we want to do vertex form. The second way is we want to find the zeros, which we can use this for as well, which we'll get to in chapter 9, I think. Okay, so final question of today is a problem where we have a fraction. Now, I don't want you to freak out about it. You can use decimals if it's not a repeating decimal, okay? So let's go through this. So I'm going to do the same steps. Make sure it's in standard form. Yes, it is. So now I'm going to do my B term divided by 2. Uh-oh, it's a decimal. I'm going to write 1.5, and this is going to be my clue. What am I going to do now? I'm going to take the 1.5 and I'm going to square it. And 1.5, I'm going to go to my calculator. What's going on here? What happened to my screen? Oh no. Let's see if I can get my screen up here. There we go. Clear. 1.5 squared is 2.25. So I'm going to write 2.25. I don't need you to write it as a fraction. If you want to, you can. You can use fractions here. You have your calculator. Use it. So 2.25, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to my original problem, step 4, rewrite it, y equals x squared plus 3x. Now I'm going to write in my new c, 1.5 minus 1.5, and then I'm going to write down my old c plus 8, okay? Oh, I wrote down the wrong thing. My c term is not that. Oh no, Mrs. J, I'm glad you caught it before I finished up. I apologize. It's 2.25. Hopefully you guys saw that before you did that. 2.25. I apologize. This is the new C. See, I didn't even write it. I ran out of room. That's why I was kind of being sloppy and quick. The new C is 2.25, so that's what I write down there. Plus 2.25 minus 2.25. Everyone okay with that? Okay. So now let's do our y equals our binomial squared. What's it going to be? I'm not even going to think about it. It's going to be x plus 1.5 squared. How did I know that? I knew it from my clue. I didn't need to do any other work with that. That's all I have to do. 1.5 squared. And then what am I left over with? I'm left over with 8 minus 2.25. which is 5.75. So I come here and I write 5.75. The final step, we're not done. This is called vertex form that I just found. If the question asks for you to write it in vertex form, this is your answer. You stop here. But if it asks for you to find the vertex, you find the vertex by doing same number, different sign. So it's negative 1.5. Oops, I put a parenthesis. I shouldn't have done that. Comma 5.75, and that's my vertex. Could I find that on my calculator? No, I could not. So this is one example where I'm getting decimals for my x value, so therefore I would not be able to see it on my calculator on the table, the turning point. So if it was a multiple choice type question, you would have no choice but going through and doing vertex form, using completing the square to find the vertex. That's it for me today. I'm going to have a worksheet that you're going to do with just a few problems on it. I just want to make sure you guys know how to do it. I want to make sure you're doing the problems. Do not just write down the solution. In fact, what I'll do is I'll have a solution sheet on the back, so you have the answers. I want to make sure you know how to do these steps. So I'm only going to put, I want to say 6 to 8 questions. I got to look and see what the worksheet does, and I might tweak it a little bit from last year. And that's about it. I will have office hours tomorrow because I want to make sure you guys are all good with this after you've had a chance to look at it. You have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.